Hello and welcome to the Trading Wife Stock Chat again. I apologize that we had some technical difficulties trying to put the show out almost an hour ago, actually. Took us a while. I had some problems with my microphone wasn't working, and I'm not sure if that was because I needed to update some Windows software, which it did do, but it might be something about the default not working as well. Anyway, unimportant. It's all fixed now, and here we are to talk about stocks and all things market today. I do have another computer set up so that I can put charts up and switch back and forth between myself and the charts. So that should be working a little bit better. I also have the guys in my chat room. I want to remind them that we are a bit delayed. So when I see your questions and so forth in the chat room, it'll take me a minute or so to about 30 seconds, I think it is, to respond to that. So here we go. Let's talk about the markets. Markets today are moving in the right direction after the central bank in Europe announced when Draghi came out and said that they are doing a whole bunch of QE. A little bit different from ours, which I think spooked our market makers and investors initially, and we saw some volatility this morning, but we seem to have gotten over that, and SPY is looking fairly decent here, as I will show you. There you have a picture of the SPY chart, and you can see that it has broken the downtrend in here. So it has definitely broken that downtrend. This, it put in a bullish doji sandwich. We have this open green Maribozu candle, the doji, and then a bullish engulfing, making that a left-right combo, making this entire three candles here a bullish doji sandwich. And we have, since today, bounced right off of the ADMA, which is the red line there, and gone right through the downtrend, breaking the downtrend. We're now working a bit on the 50-day moving average. We got through it this morning at one point, but we pulled back a little bit. It's a good-looking candle. It's a high doji that's currently at the top, near the top of its range. Pushing through that 50-day moving average may take a day or two. That doesn't mean that it's not going to do that and stay there. I would say that if this closed today just like it is now, I would call this. You see no charts. Okay, well, we're supposed to be seeing charts, so why are we not seeing charts? I'm seeing charts. Okay, there's me, and there's charts. So I see the chart. You should also be seeing the chart. Are you seeing the chart? Okay, still no chart? It said it was. I guess it's not. Okay, now you see the chart. Is this the first time you're seeing it? I have to. We're in different time zones here, so. Okay, so going back to this chart here, we have the 50-day moving average that the SPY is working hard to get through. It popped through it this morning, but again, this is a really nice looking candle in here, and I don't think that it's necessarily a bad thing that it didn't stay through that 50-day moving average yet. I think that it certainly can. I would say that if it closed today just like this, I would call this my timer turning green with caution because of the 50-day moving average. We do know that the 50-day moving average can provide strong resistance when it rejects there. We call it a blue ice failure, as it kind of did earlier this month. It was a bit deceiving when it popped up through, obviously, that day that Janet Yellen let us know that there was no chance of raising interest rates anytime soon. And so we have this move through. They had this move through those bunched up MAs, which was really bullish, and by all intents and purposes should have held, but instead it created that line of resistance, that downtrend, with that next day's candle that popped up and then fell back down through, and we continued lower. Part of that, of course, was the volatility with oil continuing down, and we didn't have earnings reports yet, and of course, all this stuff with the ECB is now helping to boost things higher. Looking at some of the other indices, let's take a look at the Diamond, which is the ETF for the Dow. Let's see, how can I wonder if I could pull this out a bit. Let's see here. Oops, I meant to make that smaller. Actually, bigger is good. Bigger is good. Bigger is better, as they say in Texas. Okay, thank you. I'm using my not favorite computer here, my Asus that has Windows 8, and it's a little bit harder to work with, but that's okay. We have it working here. Again, we have those MAs acting as resistance there. The 50-day moving average, quite specifically, looks like it's coinciding a bit with the 21, got through the 34, most importantly, got through the 80 MA today, got through the T-line, and it's been resisting there for the last few days as it's been working its way up. It also has this bullish doji sandwich in here, and now it's through the T-line. So things are definitely looking good. Things are definitely looking better. I'm not yet jumping on a whole bunch of stuff. Even the IWM is looking really decent here after yesterday's doji and this gap up higher, giving us a trader's best friend. Also bumping up against that 50-day moving average, so that's going to prove to be our resistance here in the markets. I think the same thing with the Qs. So we're seeing the same thing on all three of those going around. And sometimes it just takes a little bit of time to make it all work out. Coming back to some stocks specifically, you know, I actually would love it if you guys gave me some ideas that you'd like to look at. In the meantime, we will look at the silver chart that I'm in, which is Pan American Silver Corporation. It's doing really nicely here, right? I mean, we have, yesterday gave us a doji, but it closed higher. Today it's another doji, but again, it's higher than yesterday's close, so it can keep dojiing higher as far as I'm concerned. Today's higher open after yesterday's doji does give us a trader's best friend on the Pan American Silver. I think silver in general is really looking nice, and Gigi has been kind enough to point out a lot of charts that has been helping with that as well. Taking a look at gold, it's doing about the same thing. So that nugget's looking actually pretty nice here after yesterday's bearish engulfing. It's now putting in a little doji harami type candle, staying above the 80 MA, perhaps offering another entry before it gets to the 200-day moving average. So that's pretty nice. Okay. Just chatting a bit here with Robert as well, who had some charts that he wanted me to look at, and I actually already looked at one for him, which is this LRCX or LAM, and I'm going to go ahead and post that chart in the chat room. It actually looked better when I charted it and screen captured it than it does now. It's a little bit red, but it did still bounce right off the 80 MA. It is also, like the indices, pushing on that, working on that 50-day moving average, and it has this clear line of resistance here, I think, that it's bumping up against. It is this line here that's providing resistance here that it stopped at as well today. So just going to be watching that for a while. Robert gave me a list of charts basically that he likes from a fundamental perspective, and he wanted me to chart those for him to see how they were looking at. One of them is also Bank of America, And I can see where he's coming from on this one. This definitely looks like a nice rounded bottom here, probably being helped quite a bit by the ECB QE. And it's looking good, but it needs to get through that ADMA. For me, the ADMA is the red line. So that's the T line there. Then it has the 200 moving average, which is being sort of blocked by this line that I had put in here of a level of resistance, which is interesting that it's got that 200-day moving average going pretty flat right in there. So I'm guessing that's going to also cause some resistance. But it's definitely looking like a turnaround here. And I like that it's rounded, so it doesn't look necessarily like it's a bear flag. We don't know yet. Obviously, we're having some big moves in the banks after this QE in Europe. It should make a difference. So we'll keep an eye on that. Another one he asked me to look at is PEIX, the ethanol company. You know, this is looking really good here. We have this. Is that a left-right combo, or is it a TBF? I need to get a little closer to check that out. Looks like it's a bit of a left-right combo. Yesterday's candle was more of a spinning top than it is a doji. But definitely a bullish look in here and pushing through that ADMA. If that closes above, I would say it could be bought. In fact, I would say it could be bought today with a stop just below that ADMA. You don't want it to lose that ADMA again. And I will go ahead and put out charts for these after we finish the show here, because I'll need to do that on the other computer. It's hard for me to do that here from here. But definitely looking good on the PEIX. It has the 34 to get to. Ooh, how far is that? Is that a pinball play there, Gigi? 998. That indeed is a pinball play in PEIX. So I'm going to go ahead and PEIX. Pinball plays were I believe created by Rick Sadler and were brought to my attention by Gigi, and they're pretty. It's pretty cool to watch that, because I think when you have a nice move like that, it's a real easy way. Really, the chart's gone. Okay, back to me, back to me, back to the chart. Is the chart there again? It's crazy that the chart keeps going away. I don't understand. Is the chart back? Okay. Well, I guess we're still having some technical difficulties, even with charts not back. Okay, back to me. Hello. Back to the chart. Is the chart there? Now? Okay, so if we're having trouble seeing these charts, I guess what I'm going to have to do at this point is stop sharing until I can figure this out better. I might have to. Okay, you're seeing it again, so that's good. So I'm not really sure. I guess we're just still having some technical difficulties, and you know, we're using, this is all done with a Google Hangout, so I think a lot of it is still in the early stages and working out bugs both for us and for Google, and I'm sure that we'll make it work eventually, but I'll just have to keep popping in and out until we're able to get those charts up again. So here's that PEIX chart again. I really like this, and I will definitely be putting out a chart for that later on today. Another one he asked me to look at is FSL, Freescale Semiconductor Holdings. This looks like it's trying to put in a nice little pattern here. It is definitely riding the ADMA. No, Gigi, I'm not going to be showing you the butt. That's Ollie's job. He shows everybody the butt because he's a good dog. Maybe in a few months once I get, you know, half of it off. So here's this Freescale Semiconductor Holdings. Robert is interested in this company from a fundamental perspective. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's just pull this a little further forward again, and that's a pretty decent looking chart. Definitely at its highs in here. I would probably put a line up here that shows that line of resistance. Awkward. Worth watching, holding the ADMA, a lot of other rising moving averages below it. I would say it needs to get positive before I would enter this here. It has a lot going for it, and it's certainly in an uptrend line. Let's go ahead and chart that, draw that trend line from there to there. Oh, look at that. That's actually quite nice, isn't it? So if this pops above this resistance line, I would say it could be bought there. It could even be bought just on green trading today, honestly, because the ADMA is at 26.13, which allows for really, really easy risk and reward, especially for somebody like Robert, who's a fundamental analyst and he's bullish on this. He can take a look at that and go ahead and buy it, and then it's a very, very easy stop either below the T line or below this trend line that's going through up here. That's really quite nice as well. The other one he asked me to look at is, nope, looks like that's it. Those are the ones he was interested in. Okay, so back here to you guys in the room. MU was one that I saw requested, so we're going to go ahead and pull that. MU has a little bit of work to do in here. Obviously, it looks like it's currently getting rejected by the ADMA. So while these are certainly some bullish candles in here, obviously it put in that morning star doji, gapped up from there, giving us a trader's best friend. Then that candle is somewhat of a doji, or certainly like a spinning top candle, and then you have the bullish engulfing after that, giving you a left-right combo. So these are really bullish candles in here, but it's getting rejected at that ADMA, getting rejected at that T line, and the ADMA just crossed down over the 200-day moving average, the light blue line in there. So that's not the greatest. That's not really what you want to see if you're looking to go long on a stock. So this needs to work, I think. It's hard to say at this point if it's going to be truly rejected by the T line or if it just needs to work a little harder to get through. But I would wait to go long this here. It definitely needs to do a little bit more work. Gigi has been talking about sale, so I'm going to go ahead and take a look at that. That is a really nice looking chart. He mentions that it's a float box breakout. I don't think, unfortunately, I can't put your chart's gone again. Okay, chart is gone again. Maybe it just I think it just goes away when I switch charts is the problem. So that's okay. I think that how long is the lag? PIX, FSL. Those were all the ones out, and MU. Those are all the ones that I away from the show here that I'm doing to the guys in the room. I had explained that to them, but I think that there was a little bit of confusion about that. So I don't think they were expecting the delay in the room. Some of the folks weren't expecting the delay in the room. So it does take, there's about a 30-second delay. It actually gets longer as the time goes on with the show. So perhaps I need to just stop chatting with the room. I don't know what the answer is there. But I do appreciate everybody's feedback and everybody's chart requests, etc. So, hiya, Hog. Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. The room so that you see it early, but indeed you will hear me say it as well. Okay, so look, going back here, WMT. WMT. Here's that. Ooh, that does look good. Very, very, very nice chart. Hog just brought up in the chat room. Always a pleasure to see you, Hog. I love how nicely rounded this is, and that's pushing through that ADMA. I had put in this level of resistance way back when. I guess it just denotes that line that I wanted it to get through. What's interesting is it stopped exactly there today. So I would like to see it get above today's high, but it does have all of the moving averages beneath it. It's through the T line. It's an easy buy today with a stop just below today's low or today's open or today's T line. All those other rising moving averages beneath are really nice. So that's a really good looking chart from Hog. Not a surprise. Hog's an excellent trader, and it's great to see that there. Okay, so you don't see me down in the corner, like there's not a little extra window in the corner with my, there should be a window with my face, and it should switch back and forth when I switch back and forth between me and the charts, but I'm not sure if it's doing that right. So I'm going to do the best that we can with what we have. So here's me. Nice to see you. I'm not really sure what he's saying about it. It's a little bit confusing here. Okay, another request. We're going to go back to the charts. Hold on, let me put it in. Is Staples, SPLS. Trader Sylvan made a lot of money on this one back when it was doing this. I believe that's when Sylvan was in it in December. It was an excellent, excellent trade on Sylvan's part, and I think he was the only one who caught it, so that was pretty impressive. Staples looks like it's getting ready to do something, but I mean, I think the clear answer here is that it needs to get through that ADMA. It has definitely been in a downtrend since it hit its high on December 31st. That's kind of fun. And then it's putting in this sort of descending wedge in here. But it also looks like it's going to try and possibly put in a J-hook type pattern. Hold on, let's draw this. So there's this like descending wedge here. And that should be a little bit higher. And this could easily, you know, just be a bullish descending wedge that it pops back out of. Obviously, it took a very nice run here in December. That's that one that J.J. Sylvan was able to catch. And this is a nice consolidation of that. If you look at this level here, it's, you know, I could put in the Fibonacci, but again, it's really hard on this computer for me to use all the tools. But it looks like it's about halfway the move, so about a 50% retrace, and now tapping back at the ADMA, the T line. So we see that get through that. If that closes here and then opens above the T line, I would say that could be bought tomorrow. But we definitely want to see that above the T line before we buy that. CPA. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to me before I put on the chart, so that I think that might be better. I'm hoping. So I'm going to put CPA. CPA is another request here. Oh, I see a WG as well. Okay, so let's look at CPA first. So here's CPA. Transportation Copa. I've never even heard of this. Regional Airlines. Whose airlines? I have no idea this company is. It's a nice looking chart though. Certainly airlines have been doing really, really well with the drop in oil. This certainly looks like it wants to move to the 200-day moving average, which is a significant move to 124.48 from 113, about 10%. And the T line is, well, the T line is a good $5 below, which is about 5%. So it's a decent risk reward. It's not the greatest risk reward, but it's a decent risk reward. It's risk 5% to make 10%. It looks fairly stable as it's a higher price stock, has decent volume, and again, airlines have been doing very well. I do like this sort of inverted head and shoulders look here. You have the head here and the two shoulders here, and then the neckline. This becomes the neckline in here, you see, sort of like that. And it did break out of that neckline. So definitely see a breakout of the neckline from the inverted head and shoulders, but it got a little bit away from that ADMA so that it's like 5% away now, and I prefer to be a little bit closer, so it might need to pull in a bit. I think I would watch it and wait until it comes back down to the ADMA and inflects, and that's where I would take it. Although the thing is here, with this candle, this is one of the reasons it's not one of my favorite charts. It's just not as easy to find entries and exits on here, because this candle is clearly a nice big move up. For whatever reasons, they might have had an earnings announcement, I don't know. And then it's flagging out from there. So perhaps it just flags out and allows that ADMA to catch back up, in which case it could be a perfect entry from there. But I would go ahead and watch it. I always say that 10 to 5 is the minimum risk reward you want to have, right? It's 2 to 1. Risk 5% to make 10%. But I prefer to be better. You can find better, and so I prefer to do better. WG. All right, so we'll switch back to me. Look, we're switching. I've switched back to me. Hi there. And I'm going to go ahead and put WG onto the chart. And when I switch back to that, then we'll talk about that. So give me a second to do that. Okay, there's WG, and here it is now. So hopefully you're all seeing WG there. Really, really nice base on that 50-day moving average. The MAs are crunching. It's trying to do something here. It's crunching between that 50-day, the T-line, the 34. What it does is kind of yet to be seen. This has a bear flag look to me, honestly, but it's clearly supporting strongly on the 50-day moving average. I see that it's an energy stock, so it could just be moving on this whole oil stuff that we've been doing. It certainly took the beating down with oil, so if oil holds up, I think that will determine what this stock does. Wait, is it? Yeah, it's okay. $5 stock does over 500K in volume. That is not bad. So it's certainly liquid enough for me, and it just needs to push through this range in here. It's clearly in a range here that it's facing out. So worth watching, no question. Not something I would enter right here, though. Okay, again, we're going to go back to me. Here I am. We're going back to me. And then I'm going to put in, looks like FNHC is the next one that we have here on the list. Ooh, ooh, that's very pretty. Okay, there it is. I already had that line in there, so we must have been talking about this before. I actually think that William brought this up a couple days ago. And that's when I went ahead and charted this a couple days ago, or maybe it was yesterday, and it was looking really nice, putting in this sort of curvy line, curving with the T line, all of these MAs crunching up below and rising below, and now it's popped out of that resistance. That's a buy. Right here, that's a buy. No question about it. 26.48 is your T line. That's less than 5%. That's a really nice setup right there. That's a buy. I'm going to actually go ahead and say that in the room is FNHC is a buy. It's kind of like when they're like, you know, and it's gone. But I'm not saying and it's gone. I'm saying it's a buy. Okay. So that's a really nice chart, that FNHC, really nice one, William. Okay, going to go to, you know, I'm just kind of ignoring all the stuff about with what's going on with the all the technical difficulties about it stopping and you guys not seeing the charts and all that stuff. I'm going to ignore it because I think the best thing for me to do is just go ahead and see what your requests are in the room, use those in the charts, put them up, continue doing my show, and at the end of the day, if you guys have questions after we close the show, we can discuss those. There might be a way for me to bring you guys into the room without a camera, where you know we don't see you, but you can chat in the room, and then you're in real time. But we may have to see how many of you we can get in here at once, because I'm not really sure what the answer is to that either. Okay, so we are going to go. There was one more that was mentioned that I haven't had a chance to put up, and that is TNK. Okay, so now that you have me, now we're going to go back to the chart. Ready? Ready? Here we go. Okay. Okay, here's TNK, and this is a very nice looker. Shipping, transports, airlines all benefit from lower oil. And so I think that we should see them doing well in the early part of 2015, certainly. It makes a lot of sense that they would do that. This looks like it's trying to J-hook in here. Really nice little descending wedge that it's formed into that J-hook. Hold on there, buckaroo. So again, I apologize for that. Still got to do better. Look, broke out of that trend line there. That was the top line of the descending wedge. So it's breaking out of this descending wedge. It's tapping up against the T line. It needs to get through that first. Again, you have, oh, that's an interesting retrace, because this provided resistance here, and it looks like it's an area, oops, that provided support. The bottom of that, interestingly, provided support here as well. And you can see these other moving averages that are coming up. Does need to get through that ADMA. I'm going to go ahead and move these lines here. But definitely one to watch. What's volume like? Volume's exceptional, of course. It's TK Tankers. It's a big company. Has plenty of people trading this stock. So plenty liquid, nice big moves. You're looking at a 9% move from one of these levels to another. So 588, 545 to, what is that actually? Is that really 9%? That doesn't seem like 9%. I guess it is. Hard to say. But nice big moves in here. You can get a lot out of this. If this comes through this ADMA, you know, you can target back up this level up here, around $7, right? 670 at least. So that's a really big move from getting through the ADMA at 590. So let's say you buy it at 593 and you take it to 674 or so, see if it gets through that level, maybe sell half at that point. That's a really nice move on a $6 stock. Hold on, let me do the math real quick. 80 cents basically on a $6 stock. So you're looking at 12.5%. That's a decent move. So that's definitely one to watch. I think it looks really good. And I'm just going to double check here if there are any more that anyone else would like to see. Okay. Coming back to me. Hi again. By the way, we've been doing our snow dances, trying to get snow in the mountains, but now it doesn't matter because my daughter hurt her knee, and it's just all very frustrating. But Simone really laughs at me because I'll actually go to the window and go, and she thinks I'm crazy. But those are my snow dances, so what are you going to do? PXLW I'm going to put on over here. La-di-da-di-da. Okay, putting that back to the chart. I hope it works. So here is the PXLW chart. Very good looking chart that looks like it just got a bit extended and is pulling back. Needs to let the T-line catch up. It has a great bunch of moving averages in here. Very, very strong support there. Clearly it consolidated nicely in here, put in this little scoop pattern. See how it went straight and then scooped, made this little curve down here? That's a scoop pattern. Overall, maybe this is like a cup and handle kind of thing. Maybe it's an inverted head and shoulders kind of thing. In any case, it's certainly a bullish pattern. It made, let's go ahead and take this old trend line out. It made this bottom in here, has come up, pulled back down a little bit, and continued higher. So this is good news. These are, you can see the waves in here. Wave 1, wave 2, it could easily pull back down a little bit to the TNA or let the the T-line catch back up. That was a little Freudian slip there with the TNA. And then continue higher to the 200-day moving average. I would not buy this. Stop it. I would not buy this here because it's currently descending and finding that consolidation to let the T-line catch back up. But a move to the 200-day moving average is almost $6, $5.99. That's an over 20% move on this stock. So a lot of potential here. I would definitely keep watching this PXLW. And I see you guys laughing at my snow dance. But yes, definitely worth watching. Not an entry here, but definitely worth watching. Okay, I'm going to take a look at XIV, and I wanted to go ahead and switch back to myself before I did that. That the snow dance is really just for entertainment for you guys because I thought you might enjoy it. La-da-da-da-da. I know that, wow, look at that XIV. It's really, really bumping up against that resistance line right now. It's working hard to get through it. I think it might do it today. I don't want to get so excited, but it is looking good. It's through the T-line with purpose. What we obviously don't want to see is we don't want to see it close at this resistance line and then do what it did earlier this month, which was close through the T-line and then put in a bearish engulfing and drop back down. So what we'd like to see this do is even if it closes here or closes higher, it can close here, and I would be very happy with that, and then it can move higher tomorrow and get on through that resistance line, that downtrend, and it will be looking like it's in good shape. It does look like volatility is collapsing here, right? I mean, it's been in this range here. This is just the VIX. This is not the VXX that also suffers contango and decay and leverage. This is just the regular VIX index, and it's definitely been in a range. It peaked back here in October. It did not peak as high in December. It did not. It's peaking even lower in January, although it did like a double top in here. I really think this is going to collapse in here. It's been tagging the 50-day moving average, and I think that it's going to finally go lower. Speaking of volatility collapsing, okay, let's come back to me. Oh, did we ever go to the chart? We never went to the chart. Okay, wait. So confusing. Okay, there's the VIX chart. Did you guys see the XIV chart, or did I go back to me in between? So there's the VIX chart. Again, you can see it collapsing. These are very bearish candles in here. You had that bearish doji sandwich, and it's come lower. It's gonna see what it does with this 50-day moving average here, but you can see that it's been putting in lower highs since it peaked in October, December, January, kind of a double top here in January. So this definitely has this rolling over look. And let's go ahead and toss in the, I don't know, if I put the XIV chart right in there, I don't know if you see that right away. I see it. but I don't know if you do. Again, I'm going to say that this XIV is bumping up really nicely against that downtrend line, and even if it doesn't close there today, I think that if it pushes through tomorrow, that will actually be really good for that chart. Okay. See if you guys have said anything else in the room. TLT, do we see TLT rolling over? Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to, I don't know, I'm not really sure how much you guys are seeing. I will see it later when this goes on video, because this will go on onto video, being recorded, and will go on YouTube. So we'll have a nice video of it later on, and I'll be able to see more of what you guys were seeing between going back and forth between me and the charts, because at this point we're still experimenting, and I apologize for the technical mishaps, but it's just going to take some time to work out the kinks. I think we just need to do this a few times before we know that the kinks are worked out. Okay, so here is TLT. Do I see it rolling over? Well, sure. Clearly, it put in a bearish engulfing candle yesterday and is losing the T line today. It could hold there and inflect. It's hard to say if it will really roll over. Bonds don't necessarily move in opposition from the markets currently. Ever since QE came into play, it stopped doing that. So I don't think that that's a tell necessarily on what the market will do, but it is possible that people are finally pulling out of bonds to put them into stocks and metals, because we're definitely seeing a turn back up in the metals that we haven't seen in a very, very long time. So back to me. All right, what were you saying over here, Gigi? Oh, Gigi loves TNA. Of course he does. Oh, thanks, Hog. Stuff does happen, doesn't it? All kinds of stuff happens. All right, guys. Well, I think that is going to do it. I'm doing it on Thursdays just for you, Gigi. Absolutely. And kisses back at you. Kisses to all of you in the room. And I'm going to sign off, and I will see you in the chat room. I hope that was helpful. I hope that was I'm not really even sure how long we've been going. It's all been, we started so late, and it's all been sort of a comedy of errors. But I think that there is good news in the markets. Now we're seeing a lot of green shoots here. I think it's going to be a very good 2015, and I thank you all for stopping by to the Trading Wife's Stock Chat Talk. Did I say that right? I think so. Bye-bye. Have a good day, everybody.